everybody, happy Monday, the start of another week. We venture into the great unknown to find out how long is it actually going to take until we get to Friday. You're all very welcome along. Tonight we continue on our 6-part adventure as we go through the skies, inspired by the Grand Tour's journey through Europe called Eurocrash. This one's called Wing It, the aviation side of Eurocrash. Tonight, friends, we're taking an excellent airplane, general aviation, and it is that of the Diamond DA42, produced by cows. Moo! Creator of World Simulations, they're called, and it's a very nice machine. See? So how are we? Are you right? I mean, the weekend kind of went quickly, didn't it? Let's not kid ourselves. It's like, wait, Monday! And I, the Monday, I started off my day good and early, up at that time, and if I had a swear jar, let's just say I'd have filled it twice by 11s. Is that still a thing? Do people still do 11s? Do you still, so you have like breakfast, which could be a cup of coffee, we'd say, right? But 11s is very important. It is the 11 o'clock. Usually it happens at 10:30. But that's not important right now. We call it 11s. And then you have lunchtime, then you have tea time, then you have dinner time, then you have supper time, and then you have, well, night time. Right. 11s. Do you still do 11s? I love 11s, right? I just saw a comment out of the corner of my eye, and it was a compliment. Helen Bird, you're back in the well. I've been like, blocked me nose and blocked me ears, breathing outwards, trying to grow a bit. I'm about 4 years growing this, lads, And it's grand, and depending on the light, it's grand. It looks, yeah, your man has a bit of a beard. I don't know what it is. Like, right. I'm going to level with you. The hair on top is starting to fade away, right? I've no hair on my leg. Well, I do, but I've no hair beneath my knees. And I can only put that down to when I went parachuting and broke my legs. The hair just said, hey, we're not doing that again. Right. And I've a bit of, you know what I mean? I've blonde hair, so it's hard to see. However, the rate of knots in which the hair grows out of your ears and your nose, it's like they want to kind of meet up and tie a big knot and say, brilliant. And the facial hair has been quite slow, But now, after 4 years of, it's getting there. And, it'll get to the stage where I'm like, I don't like it anymore. Or it'll be like, Jesus, no, I want a Gandalf one, They could be handy for many reasons. But anyway, let us get into what it is.
Yeah, baby.
Jesus. Right? Let us get into what we're about to do tonight. There's all stuff happening. People pressing buttons and your man going, yeah, baby. Right. Part 2. The Great...
Oh, Jesus.
the Great Jesus. The Great Escape. Right, for this leg of our journey, we're trading in the brute force of the Caribou for something that's more Bond than Rambo. It is that of the Diamond DA42 by cows. This isn't just a plane, it's an aviation equivalent to a sleek Aston Martin with a PhD in aerodynamics. With its carbon fibre body, twin engines and a glass cockpit, the DA42 is designed to make flying feel less like work and more like an art form. I did get it wrong. Art form. Anyway, tonight we're going to kick off at Poznań, Echo Papa Oscar, a city been around longer than most countries, and Poznań is where Poland itself practically began. The airport here is one of Poland's oldest, with a history dating back to 1913. But you wouldn't know that. All the modern facilities around the place, well, sure, it looks lovely. Next, we're going to be heading southwest to Zielona, Gora. The pronunciations, lads, forget it, right? But I'll try. Echo Papa Zulu Golf. It's a place famous for its vineyards. Yes, friends, Polish wine, it's a thing. This town is at the heart of the Polish wine country. And as we glide over the lush green vineyards, the airport itself, it's small, quiet, and surrounded by all of this greenery. Then we're going to make a poignant flyover, a place called Stalag Luft 3. We have some GPS coordinates in the route. This is the infamous World War II prisoner of war camp where the Great Escape took place. Finally, we head to, thank you Squawk Torque, Wrocław, Echo Papa Whiskey Romeo. It's one of Poland's most beautiful cities with a mix of Gothic spires and modern architecture, and it's a city that's risen from the ashes of history. Literally. So the DA42 swoops in over the Oder River, offering some views that are nothing short of cinematic. The airport itself is bustling, it's modern, and it's just the right place to show how the DA42 should land like a swan. We hope, right? As part of the journey, it isn't just a plane, this one. It's a statement. It's about flying a sleek design with precision and just a little touch of swagger. As we soar over Poland, the ancient cities and historic sites, this is going to be mad. And we're going to learn about the Great Escape. Do you ever wonder where Tom, Dick and Harry came from? We're going to find out, right? And the differences, if you like, from the Hollywood The Great Escape versus the actual historical context of The Great Escape. It's quite interesting and it's quite mad. Did a bit of reading up into this a couple of years back and I was, holy moly. Do you know, it wasn't all kind of cooler. Right, it was actually very, very interesting. But anyway, with that all said, I didn't read a bit of that at all. I learned it all from memory. Yeah, go on, Murph. Thank you, Squawk Talk, for the pronunciations. I was struggling. In actual fact, I was saying, Jesus, how do I pronounce this? Will I just wing it? And then I said, no, maybe. And then Squawk Talk jumped into the chat and said, remember, Murphy, this is how you pronounce it. Right. So anyway, who's here in the chat on this Monday evening? There's a storm on its way to Ireland. Well, I say a storm. There's supposed to be, what are they called? A super blue moon. Yeah, baby. No, there is. There's a super blue moon seemingly over Ireland tonight, but we won't get to see it because it is cloudy. Yeah, that's the way the weather is in Ireland. So it'll be grand. So who's here? Look, Larry jumped in and scared the crap out of me before it even went live. How are you, Larry? Good to see you, man. David Bay is here. Good evening. Tarnish Mossman. Yeah, baby. Welcome aboard. Super Typhon rambles in. The A321 and A319, they have been released. Yes, I've saw maybe 5 or 6 people on the Twitch streaming it, and well, they look very nice, don't they? But here, lads, it's general aviation. We'll do the other thing, not because we can. It's because we can't, right? Do you know? But Chalks is here. AJH, man. Spitfire, RAF 100 is here in the chat. Very happy Monday to you. Fierce Wolf, looking fierce. Yeah, and Wolfie. Drumma is here. Baldric the Dong, good to see you. Old Veteran 965. I was going to say I didn't hear any music, but here it is. Good to see you, Scott. Happy Monday. Retriever Neil is here. Welcome aboard. Lead Ballooner, happy Monday to you. Scott says, happy Monday, y'all. Hope it's been a good one, or will continue to be a good one, far away from Greenwich Meridian. Indeed. You see, you're living in the past, man. Sir Campsalot, my dude, how's she cutting? Willow, how much is here? Tritz 4, welcome aboard. Rad Baron is here. Viper Strike rambles in.
Hello
Fluid DA42 from Mexico City to, Jesus, Puerto Vallarta, or is it Puerto Vallarta? Right, brilliant. You're very welcome in. And, Jesus, we have all things happening. Iceman, thank you for the follow. You're welcome aboard. Now, let me see. Vazali, welcome in. Vacuum is here. Echo Charlie, good to see you. Flight Plan Fan. It's almost like Muse Flan. I nearly put a flan at the end. Do you remember flan? Basically, any recipe you wanted to make started off with a flan. You could put jam in it, you could put cream in it, you could put your cornflakes on flan. A flan. Do you have flan in your countries? Be honest now. You might be saying, Murphy, what's flan? Right, look it up. Brilliant stuff. But you're welcome in. Matt Kelly is here. Welcome in. Night Zep. Very happy Monday to you. Viper Strike subscribing for, Jesus, 31 months. No, 39 months. He says also 39 months with the #1 flight sim community. Viper Strike, thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Insane generosity. Pad is here. Good evening. Commander Balosh, good evening. Hope you had a good start to the week. And to you, my dude, and to you. But yeah, it's all about the Phoenix tonight, isn't it? Kozaki Flyer, excuse me, do you have time to hear the word of the amazing Murph? The amazing Murph? Welcome on stage. No, wait, he fell over. Vince E is here. Liptorius, good evening. Sun Jammer, I've got a girlfriend who never stops whining. I wish I'd never brought her to that vineyard. Jesus. Good to see you. Hemmingbird, she says, I bought a new shelf earlier. The bloke in the shop asked me if I was going to put it up myself. I replied, no, in the living room. Right? Jesus, how are you having, Bird? God almighty. Where are you putting that in the sitting room? Jesus. Martel is here. Good to see you. Squawk Talk subscribing to the channel for 38 months. Thank you very, very much indeed. My dude. I hope you're well. Daddy Plump is here. Welcome in. Sean Dale says, hello, everyone. I hope you're all having fun. I'm hoping to fly, but it may not go as well, or it may go as well as a chocolate fire guard. I heard a great expression today. They promised me chocolate, or was it? Oh yeah, they promised me chocolate rivers, but it only retained its colour. That was funny. Trits4, good to see you. Shuffle Shoes shuffles in. AJH John, happy Monday. Scorpio49, refilling his glass from a new bottle of Merlot, has subscribed to the channel for 42 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, Scorpio. It's great to see you, man. He says, good evening, Murph, and all in chat, and to you, you divil. I hope you're well. Sean Dale says the L-17B will be fun. Looking forward to flying that one in a couple of weeks' time. Probably Pete is here. He says we'll be listening in while flying Firefly Air in the beautiful British Columbia, Canada. This sounds brilliant. Rookie Pilot, good to see you. Chox has subscribed 28 months, Chox. Thank you very, very much indeed. It's absolutely insane support between the other day and today, and with the right. It's nuts. Dougal McTavish, the chairman. Not sure why, but I've hardly flown this since it was released. Too many other great aircraft, I guess. Probably. And Dougal, you're very welcome in. Yeah, the DA42, like there's so many awesome aircraft that have been released. You know, there's great hype, we go flying, we love them, but then something else comes along and then you're like, oh yeah, I remember flying that. Do you know what I mean? And that's why these series kind of help us along, because I tend to pick aircraft not flown as much, just to give us the excuse to, do you know what I mean? Right, go flying in them once again. Jemima is here, welcome in. B. Carlo, good to see you. Soaring AJH man. Dread Menace is here, welcome aboard. Old Veteran says, old shirt. This isn't an old, isn't an old shirt. Oh, it is. This is an old one, look. It's the PIR Currahee. Or, I can do that better. Currahee, that's the one. Currahee was Indian or, you know, Native American for something. I forget what it was, though. Mrs. Two-Tone will tell me. She told me the other day. But yes, now, where's this now? Where's this? I'm over here. Larry has watched 10 streams in a row. Jesus, good man yourself. Thank you very much indeed. What are you messing with me chair for? DeBlaze, good to see you. Now we're over here. Is me or is Murph looking particularly beardy today? See what I mean? Pay him one compliment and that's it. That's a good looking shirt, says Jay Winokur. Remember, boys, flies spread disease. Great to see you, Jay Winokur. Hope you're well, man. P.S. Morandai. Hello there. You're very welcome aboard. Flying Tonight is here. I'm still identifying as being a Friday night. Mondays no exist. Yes, I concur and agree with you. Indeed. Then you forgot happy hour. Happy hour. Goodness sake, good to see you. I only look forward to Murph time. For relaxing times, make it Murph time. Wait, what was it? It was Santori. Do you remember that? Santori time, right? Dougal's after getting himself removed from the will. I just saw a comment out of the corner of my eye. Jesus. PH Roy is here. Good to see you. H Bar Lee. 41 months, my dude. Thank you very, very much indeed. It's great to see you. He says simply, yo-yo, Murph. Are yo-yos still a thing? Do people still use yo-yos? Are they called yo-yos if there's many of them? Is it a yo-yo? No, it is. Yo-yos. Right. They were all the rage. When I was very young, they were all the rage. And then they kind of came back. Everyone had someone had a yo-yo. They just take it out and yo-yo. Oh, Jesus, me hand. That's loose. Let's not mess with it. That's very loose, though. Uh-oh. Wait now. Right, but the whole place is falling down, but it's grand. We were talking about yo-yos. Do people still yo-yo? Right, I was over here. Where was I? Wait until the eyebrows get the message. No, the eyebrows tend to go outwards, but only kind of one stream at a time, or one, you know, very strange. And then you have to be shocking careful. I mean, you need the precision and the steadiness of a stone, right? Because if you try and, you know, trimmage and you make a mistake, well, friends, you look like you have, you know, something about you, right? But anyway, we're over here now, look.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
It's all happening now. So Murph will have a beard by the time I can have my state pension. Sunjammer, how old are you? Old veteran, look at the state. He jumped out of the crowd, waving around 5 gifted tier 1 subs and placed them into the community. Scott, thank you very, very much indeed. 5 gifted tier 1 subs. And lads, if you just got If you just got... Gibbo, you had to ruin the moment. If you just got a tier 1 sub, thanks to Old Veteran 965, well, do be sure to say thank you. Mr. Tommy is here. Some say the man had a lot to do with this plane. Others say it is his plane. Good to see you, Mr. Tommy. My left ear has a line of 5.6 hairs. Jesus. Right is bald. Gibbo then, of course, jumps in. He says, well, you have a hairy arse, though. Does that count?
They've done studies, you know.
No, they haven't.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Jesus, then, right? That's hard going, isn't it? Right, all the hair you lose ends up in your ears, nose, and your back, says Airlock Doc. See, you matter bashing me on. See, that's a fella who knows his stuff. Good to see you, Airlock. Dr. Sisu is here, 32 months.
Oh, Jesus.
Beards, he says, I was paged. I came for the top tier quality content and news. Basically, Murph's nose hair. That's what it's all about. What did you do last night? He spoke about his nose hair. Wait, what? Right. Do you know, Dr. Sisu, thank you very, very much indeed. Great to see you, my guy. And Zybok Doc has rambled in, calling from Denmark. Hello from Tipperary. I hope you're keeping very well indeed. Who else is here? Look, Meow. I want to know, Meow. Indeed. Squawk Talk says, I saw a compilation on YouTube's of Colin Meaney just saying, Jesus, in about 20 different films. We've shown it off. We've shown it off before, right? Who keeps pressing that button? Right, we're over here. David Bay, Phoenix downloader started fast. Now it's stuck. Oh, Jesus. Tritz4 says, you'd never know you were reading all of that. Right, and a brilliant Tritz, isn't it? I retain all the data in my head, right? That's a lovely picture, isn't it? I should frame that, really. Right, do you know, over the fireplace, maybe, where you walk in. Hello, good evening, welcome. That's what they used to do back in the day. You used to get these, like, lovely pictures. And when people were invited around to your residence, you would say, yes, this is Dango. Huh? Right. It was all about the art, you see. It's an art. I don't think we do that anymore. I don't think people invite you into their house. Would you like to view my pictures? Huh? Right. You'd think there'd be something wrong with them. But that's what happens now. Land like a swan with you with the controls. Nutty slack. It'll be grand. It'll be totally fine. Epic Food is here. It's good to see Murph's commute time isn't going to waste. I reckon he dictates these monologues on the drive. That's exactly how I do it. I remember it. I rehearse it. Yes. Brilliant. Good to see you, Epic. Rambok Mort is here. Very good evening to you, my dude. Energizer rambles in. Evening all. Watching and flying some new Airbus thing. Can't imagine anyone else is doing that today. Airbus? What? Never heard of it. But you welcome in. Right, over here. It's National This Isn't Monday Day. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Now, let me see. Tim Dog, good to see you, Tim. Stavaris is here. I'm just here for the shenanigans, he says. Indeed. Jesus, it's busy. I'm only here in the chat. Iceman, welcome aboard. Thank you for the follow. Nighthawk is here. He says, hiya, Murph. Is Hurricane Ernesto heading for Ireland? Is that the devil's name? Ernesto. Yeah. He's from Bantry. Yeah. We're getting the tail end of Hurricane Ernesto. We shall not make any unnecessary sandwiches. That's very important. But good to see it. Murph can grow a beard once every blue moon. Seemingly the next time the moon is on show. No, hang on. Phrase that so like it's not incorrect information. Fake news. The next time you get to see the blue moon over Ireland, or the super blue moon, or whatever it's called, is going to be in the year 2037. Seemingly. Or 2035? I can't remember now, but it's a couple of years from now, right? It's about 12 years or 13 years or, in the future. What will we be flying then, right? But anyway, Filthy is here. Good to see you. Paparazzi, he says, how are you, Murph? And Fireflies. Just landing in Honolulu, but still stuck at work and hope all is well in the realm. Great to see you. Keen Lafford is here. Flantastic. Brilliant. Great to see you, Keen. Englewood, happy Monday. Do you remember a TV character, says Nutty Slack, called the Phantom Flan Flinger? Huh? Was that a thing? I don't know. Tin Can Pops is here. Two-tone. Just want to say your NVIDIA walkthrough on YouTube really helped me out with my frame rate. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad it helped. The Grand Wazoo is here. Welcome aboard. Cy Murray subscribed at tier 1 for 36 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, Cy. PH Roy then gifting a tier 1 sub over to Kirak01. Thank you very, very much indeed, Roy. That's the generosity. Absolutely incredible. Lee Dixon jumps in with a Prime subscription, 26 months. Thank you very, very much indeed as well. Lads, the support is unbelievable. Thank you also very much indeed. Now, we're nearly there. Mr. Tommy says, I flew a DA40 the weekend. It was just as reliable as your Skoda. It was grounded. It is. The Skoda's driving, lads. That's the main thing. The Phantom Flan finger was on Tis was. Whose was? Good saying about as useful as a handbrake on a canoe. Brilliant. Happy birthday to the 4-month subscription. Roy, thank you very much indeed. Probably word for run off your butt. That could work. One Fly Air is here. He says, how are you, Murph and Mr. Two-Tone and all? Hope you're all well. We might get some Super Moon online. Murphy stream first. Right, you could watch it online. Yeah. Dougal says, can't help noticing the grey in the beard. It's an optical illusion. It's the power of the lights, Dougal. It's shocking bright blonde. Right? Boot polish, I believe, works. Right now, stand by for breakage. You better believe it. Ozzy Mandius is here. Welcome in. Eamon, welcome aboard. The Duncan Firewheel back in the day. Ooh, yo-yos indeed. We're over here. Neo, tier 1 for 24 months. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much indeed, Neo. You're welcome aboard, man. If you could grow hair, you could have a unibrow. Can't unsee Merv plucking his eyebrows now. For God's sake, this is a hairy conversation. I did it! I'm brilliant! I just did a pun about a pun. It's a hairy situation. Hemingward is probably sitting there going, I'm so proud of him.
Oh, jeez.
Right? This is someone clip that. That's important. The time Murphy was actually funny. It's a hairy situation. If Murphy could grow hair, he might have a chance of babes. Jesus. What are you trying to say? I'm very good looking, and some say Mr. Tommy has a few screws loose. Brilliant. Frod Hammer, good to see you. Greetings, just came here because I like to listen to someone while I fly. Well, you're very welcome in and happy flying. Corn Wolf, good to see you. Eamon says, is that a Teletubby on the left-hand side of the picture? Huh? Wait, what? No, it's not. Right, where are we at now? Jeez, a tough crowd. Tough crowd. Murph's Moon on show. No. 13 years from now, Simon Murray. Come on yourself. Anyone ever have a bug where you can't change the speakers for the sim? I think that can happen. Arnie UK, good to see you. Winkle Gassler is here. In a box, man. You're very welcome aboard. Happy Monday. My wife bought me a nose mower. Great bit of kit till it gets stuck up one suitor. Wait, what? Trits, it's for your nose, man. Phantom Flan Finger, Hemmingbird Wish now, sit down. Positively hair raising, she says. Gaseous Maximus, you're very welcome aboard. Mr. Dan is here. Welcome in. And on the bay picture, the Teletubby might have been you, Murph. Yeah, thanks, Eamon. Yeah. He sound like that. Yeah, sound like that. But we'll come over here and say hello. Say hello to everyone on YouTube. We have Angel15, World Pilot, Virtue Sim, welcome in. Tier 0, how's it going? Yorkshire Pud, Delta Bravo, Vazalia's there as well. And is it Jacobs? You're all very welcome in on YouTube. And we're on the Twitch and the YouTube, and you're all very welcome in. Right, with that said, let us do one of these. And we're over here. Did you like the transition? Bit of sound, bit of movement of the microphone. And all is well in the realm, right? Keen Arthur, good to see you. Welcome in.
Jesus
is right. Look at the state of this thing, isn't it gorgeous? Right, so before we get going, we're going to have a look at our route. Navigraph. Hello, Navigraph. So we're on the ground here, and we're going to be starting out over at Poznań, Echo Papa Oscar. And our first stop of the night is over at Echo Papa Zulu Golf, or Zielona Gora. It's the wine region. From here, we're actually going to head down past the city itself until we get to these coordinates, 51, 35, 48, and then Northern Hemisphere, and then to the east. And what's over here, lads, is the area in which Stalagluft 3 was located. And if we actually zoom in on the satellite imagery, that's where we're going to go. Now, a lot of the camp and all that was removed. There's actually a museum here to this day, but we're going to fly over it, and who knows, there might be a suitable place to land an aircraft. I'm thinking about the field in behind, you see, because there's tunnels out that direction. Then after that, it's going to be a bit of a slog until we get down to our final destination, Echo Papa Whiskey Romeo. That is our flight plan for this evening, so it should be fun, right? There is a flight plan over on our Discord if you want to grab it from there. Also, lads, a bit of feedback if you wouldn't mind. Posting the schedule over on the twotonmurphy.com website. Yay or nay? And the reason being is it's not finished. I'm going to add more features to it, but I'm aware that not everyone uses Discord. And the idea behind this is, well, you can get all the information direct from one place. Nay. Oh, Jesus, there's like all the naysayers in straight away. Really? Right, okay. So it looks like it's gone back on Discord. Nay. On live time, you can see the full moon. Wait, what? Nay. Oh, you don't like it on the website. Oh, really? Oh, Jesus. Well, you're kind of making my life easier because it takes... Wait, hang on, there's yays. Hate to say I told you so. Shut up, Gibbo. Who asked you? Murph, that's not a good idea. What are you talking about, Gibbo? This is a great idea. Don't think so, Murph. Rubbish. A week later, Murph is better on Discord. That would mean I have to go to the website. Yes. Indeed. Well, typically, I imagine everyone who has Discord doesn't really mind because you have Discord and everything's on Discord. So are we putting it back to Discord? Okay. Both. Well, that's double jobbing. I hate double jobbing. Right, we might do both. So right, well, feedback is important, and thank you for the feedback. Is it because you have to go somewhere else? Is that the idea? Because, like, you know, the information is there, but it's just very much kind of out on its own, isn't it? I like the ability to scroll up on Discord and see all the stuff and things we go back on there. Ah, right. Right, it's a nay. It's a resounding nay. Murphy, stop putting stuff on your website and just put it on Discord. Right, grand, sold to the bestseller. Or the highest bidder. Better grab something around 250. For this thing, yeah, you know what I'm like when it comes to the speeds, right? But anyway, right, thanks for the feedback, lads. So here we are in the Diamond DA42. This is a cracker, this is. And some interesting liveries are available for this as well. So, look, it's one of the nicest modelled aircraft in the sim. It looks beautiful. The texture work, the modelling work, this thing just looks beautiful. And there's lovely detailing on it as well. It's not all, you know, brand new shampoo. There's a bit of dirt and grime and textures, and do you know what I mean? It's an aircraft in regular use. That's what it appears to be, and that's what we can see. Especially on the leading edge of the wing look. I mean, look, do you know what? They're bugs. Right? And dirt and other things. So it just kind of adds to it, doesn't it? It just adds to the whole kind of setup of it, of a DA42. And the Twin Star, that's what these are known as. And the version we fly tonight, I think, is the DA42-7, right? And that's the newest variant of these. But as I said, like, the detail on these, it's superb. Cow's done a great job here. Like, you can really see the detailing. Like, look at the decals here. Do you know? So yes, we're going to be on the Southeast Asian server for sure. And with the aircraft, I mean, look at in terms of utility, not so much. These are used more for pleasure flying and also a lot of flight training. And they're a great IFR trainer. And a couple of flight schools have them. I've seen one or two of them over this neck of the woods. What's interesting about this aircraft, and you either like it or you hate it. I don't think there's anything really in between. But it's the view of this massive engine, the cowling. It's absolutely friggin' massive. That is just something absolutely... It's just cool to look at on your wing, right? Did Steve-O Knievel fly one of these? I think he did. But it's a modern avionics package. We have the Garmin G1000 units, and it's all very fancy, and there's a ton of features with the aircraft. Working Title have done their bits and bobs, and Cows have done their bits and bobs, just to kind of round it off as a very complete aircraft. The only thing it doesn't seem to have, of course, is consequence. Now, there is a little bit, but in terms of like wear and tear simulation, fatigue on the airframe, or damage and all that sort of jazz, who knows, will it be added? And there is quite a bit of logic to it, and if you do mishandle the aircraft, it'll bite. And one of the most intuitive features, I think, of this aircraft was how the props can windmill during an engine out, right? And you can actually restart them based on the correct wind hitting the prop. It'll actually spin it back into action, which is pretty cool. So the aircraft, it comes in a TDI variant, which is a turbo diesel injected, which is very interesting for aviation because, well, the cost of your fuel considerably less of that of Jet A. And yeah, Diamond are just, well, they're class, aren't they? They've a huge fleet of aircraft now. They'd be similar-ish to kind of Cirrus. They're a modern aircraft developer, and well, it's all the mod cons. There's a sleekness to it, all the modern bells and whistles, retractable landing gear, twin engine, you have redundancy. Also a bit of a challenge when it comes to having two engines, because, well, if one goes out, is the other sufficient to get us airborne? Unlike kind of a jet, where no worries. A prop, some worries. You know what I mean? So we'll learn a bit more about the aircraft as we take to the skies in this in this session. So what we're going to do, we're going to hop here into the cockpit. Hello, Mr. Two-Tone. What you want? Johnny Bicky. They don't like me website update after I said, I'll put my schedule on the website. They all said no. So the next time I come up with an idea, I'll count to 10. Now, would you like one or many? Just one. Jesus, then we'll have to go back to France soon, I'd say.
That sounds like a good plan.
That sounds like a good plan. Back to France for more. You're welcome. Of the biscuits. She wants a new kitchen. Shh. Insanely good visibility. Right? Did you ask the missus? I bet she would have said nay. Both are diesel. The 6 is the newest variant.
You didn't ask me.
I didn't ask. Right. Me glasses have something. We were talking about hair earlier on, and an eyelash went onto me glasses. It's right. The eyelashes
Eyelash
are.
or one of your grey hairs.
I don't have grey hairs. They're really, really bright blonde. Isn't there a supermoon over Ireland tonight, Keen Arthur? There is. But yeah, the visibility of this thing looks absolutely class. So what we can do, we can actually.
You're flying now.
This is the Diamond DA42. Beautiful. It is pretty. Right, they're going to start giving out to me because they're going to run out of fuel. I take about 11 seconds to do an introduction to a flight.
Just start off.
Oh, I've only started about 12 seconds ago now. That's all.
25 to 9, man. How long is your flight?
Oh, maybe 30 minutes. Moving on abruptly. Right, the canopy is closed. I think the storm window opens. It does. Yes. And, well, a bit of familiarization. All mod cons, we have our engine power, our main throttle, which is, oh, Jesus, what are they doing together? Here we are. Yes. We have our engine fuel switches and your cross feeds, and then you have your main fuel switches in which you can actually shut off the fuel. But we'll leave them in the locked and on position. We have a park and brake, which should be set to on or off. Leave it on. Defrost cabin, that's okay. We have some trim set up. Our landing gear, it's in the down position. Fuel pumps, we have the keys already in. There are mag switches, engine start switches rather. And we have our mags here, or our master switches. Over on the left hand side then works off our ECU, so we can go for the it's pretty much you keep it in auto, but you can go on either bus and that'll make sure your aircraft is up and running. So pretty cool. We're going to start off with the battery switch. So we have this electric master switch, and that's going to get our avionics powered up. Lovely. Isn't it beautiful? And I was always one, I'm a sucker for like a steam gauge, but I do like the glass, the modern stuff. I've flown in an aircraft with a G1000, and I have to say, right, instead of having to look across the entire dashboard panel of like a Cessna 172, and okay, you have your 6-pack that you follow, but you're monitoring pretty much the entire panel. But the G1000 makes life incredibly easier because it puts all of that vital information into a much smaller area, meaning that you glance to find what you need to find. Do you know? Not sure if I saw this earlier, but thank you so much for your NVIDIA settings. Tin Can, you're very, very welcome indeed. Delighted to work for you, dude. Delighted. Right, now, where am I at? I'm over here. Right, so we're going to get some lights on. Position lights, they can go on. They're more like our nav lights. Now, we don't have beacons, so we'll go with a strobe. And we have some internal lights here as well. It's great sounds in this thing. Now, what else do we need to do? Tommy is probably going to start shouting at me because I'll do things wrong, but it's grand, right? All your circuit breakers are also fully working, which is great. Now, what do we need to do here? So that looks good. That looks good. Fuel looks good. We have fuel pumps, so we'll go right-hand side. And if we just check on our fuel flow. I'm a little bit lost because I'm getting a fuel quantity. Fuel flow. Let's try it again. Is your fuel tanks on, Murphy? They are. They are. We should be getting a read on our fuel flow, but anyway, let's not worry about it at the moment. We can hear the pumps move, and that's a good thing. So we're going to go for the right engine, and we go for a start. Wait, Master needs to be on. G1000 has integrated checklist. And when you say Master, are we talking AV? TOS system test. And there is a checklist on this. Yes. Menu. No. Warning. Wished. Stop making noises. Let's have a look here now. PFD. OBS. Menu. No. Nearest alerts. No. And those on. Menu. There is an integrated checklist. No need to prime engines. Integrated, grand, sweet. Okay, right, so we're going to go for a start on the right side. So say clear prop, and let's see what happens. Beautiful! Do the same over on the left. Clear prop. Beautiful.
TOS system test. Okay.
Okay, got a little window closed. Now let's see what we need to do here now. So engines up and running. Fuel pumps on. Avionics on. All the jazz is on. We're looking good. Reset our barrow. And reset our direction indicator. We'll change our course deviation to GPS. Initial altitude. So we have an autopilot. Initial altitude. We're going to go for 4,500. And pop you in there. Heading, we'll worry about that now in a moment. We do have a flight plan. I've loaded it in default on the sim. But why isn't this gadget working? Why isn't that? That's interesting. Right, flight plan over here, I suppose. So we have our flight plan here. Yeah, that's good. And it's a user waypoint. That's what we're looking for. So that looks good to me. Heater heat can come on. Flaps are in the up position. And uncage our little HSI here. Stall heater fail. Taxi lights are going to come on. We've all these backup instruments as well, which is beautiful. You're in revisionary mode because you pulled the PFD's circuit breaker earlier. Did I break it? Real Pilot says, Murph, all the Diamond checklists are free and open on the manufacturer's homepage. No way. Big red button, display backup. There you go. See, he fixed it because he knew what he was doing. Brilliant. Let me see here now. Flight plan off. Checklists. Here we go. Go to checklist. Yes. Ah, look at this. Symbols of emergency. Look at the whole thing is done. Look. Not class, isn't it? Yes. Terms and conditions for use. Legend. Go into legend. Indicates that you have a choice between two possible conditions. Go to checklist. Next item. Group. User agreement. Emergency. Normal operating procedures. Enter. Check before engine start. Now we're talking. Electric master. Yes. Done. Battery voltage. Done. So we'll... How do we do this? Done. There's all various tests we can do here as well. I'm not going to worry about them too much. But they're all there for us. That's awesome, isn't it? Engine control. So, coolant, gearbox, electrical systems, amps and volts, fuel flow, how much remaining, oil pressure and temperature, RPM, and the load. That's like torque, I take it, yeah? Yes. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now, let me see. That's grand. No, we want normal procedures. After engine start, before takeoff. That's deadly, isn't it? Right, exit that for the moment. Keep it on this page, and let's see what's going to happen. So, we're on live weather. So, it's going to be a taxi up here to our left-hand side. Let's have an old gawk here now. So, we're going to be departing from runway 10, lads, right? Runway 10. So, we'll get a bit of multiplayer turned on. There you go. Taxi light is already running. Brakes off. Bit of power. Test the brakes. Brakes are working. And let's ramble on. Someone who reads a manual, new concept. Not at all. There's a switch in the back of the aircraft speaker. Yeah, I think you have a headphone speaker gadget down here. Headphone simulation. How cool is that? Oh, my sim just paused. Hang on a second. Give it a second. There we go. And here's some people's in the air. Nice. Thanks, Vasily. Yeah. It's a super airplane, this. Right, so we'll taxi on out this way. We'll get a couple of stutters and jumping around, but it'll be grand. It'll calm itself down now in a moment. Custom scenery from, I think it's Jarosecki Design as well. And it's super. He's done a lot of great work in Poland. And there's more stuff coming. A lot more stuff coming. Most of us are at 28 right. What's the meter? Airport? Charts? Info? Weather? Ooh! Runway 10 not used. Ah well. Grand. The best thing to do Get yourselves airborne. We're going to circle around the airport and then we'll start heading on our merry way. How's that for a plan? If you use the headphone input at altitude, does it make it a hijack? Brilliant. Isn't it a gorgeous plane though? And the sounds are insanely good. Insanely good. Barely making a noise ticking over, but like when you rev this thing up, beautiful. Easy does it. So if you're wondering why there's planes floating, it's just a difference in the scenery mesh. That's all it is. Now if you're using 2.8 lads, we could use 2.8 as well. Like we can do an intersection departure. It's just weird how the weather sock is kind of pointing the opposite direction. Do you know what I mean? Is that still a bug in the sim? I thought they fixed that. Like when you look at a weather sock, it's blown the wrong way. You know what I mean? I found 5 ants in my spare room today. Today I found 5 more ants. I guess I now have 10 ants. Kill My Skill says, did you get the 321 and 319 yet, Murph? I'm sure you've been asked this a few times. I have them, but I haven't flown them just yet. Right, we'll use 2A so far departure. And if anyone's gone for 10, well sure, we'll just blast off and get airborne. That's the main thing. We'll get ourselves started here, lads. Now let's have a look. So, transponder, stick it onto VF4. Altitude reporting. All our lights are on, that's what we want. And what else? We'll go heading mode once you get onto the active. The difference on the difference sitting on the taxiway, like it's mad, isn't it? I wonder if there's a way they can fix that in Flight Sim 2024. That'd be interesting. Now if we sit tight here, you kind of like have a run-up test on this aircraft. You're testing the ECUs, right? So you press and hold it, and she'll go through her rhythms for you. Let me see now. What am I not doing? There we go. So press and hold. The sounds are savage, aren't they? ECU A, ECU B. Try the left side. Here's our fail switch. It sounds only deadly, doesn't it? Beautiful stuff, beautiful. Right, okay, we're good to go. We shall go 1 knot of flaps to take off. There's the flaps going down. Oh, the stutters are real. Now you might be looking at this going, Murphy, what's the deal? You've just like taxied in front of everyone. We'd be here for a while if we had to go through the whole thing, you know. Hey, Robbie is here, good to see you. Right, we'll share half the runway, how's that? So, let me see, we're walking, talking, and we're squawking, power coming in. And let's get out of there. Oh yeah. There's 50. There's 60. There's 80. Yep, see Daisy. Pods are ready to climb. Gear up. Tapping the brakes. There's 95. Flaps in. Yaw dampener on. Now a bit of trimmage. Come here to be trim. Easy, easy. She's a slow old devil to trim this, isn't it? Is there a way to, can we edit the trim file in this, I wonder, Mr. Tommy? Do the circuit breakers work? They do. Okay, bring the load back slightly. Here we go. It's a difficult to trim it. It's slow, you see, you know. We'll have to do it manually. There we go. Right. Easy does it there now, Murph. Heading mode locked. Autopilot. Flight director's already on. Yaw dampener's on. We'll go heading. And we're going to V-speed. We're probably comfortable at 1,000 feet. Man alive, look at the viewpoint for this thing. Isn't it only gorgeous? Look at those engines beside us. It's stunning. Okay, so we're going to do, let me see, we're going to spin around to the left here. Is this control even working? It is. Right, we'll spin around to the left here. We're just going to circle around the airfield, give everyone a chance to get airborne. And we're going to climb up to about 4,500 feet. Just, you know. Mick Ham, good to see you. Dougal's having stutters, really? Jesus. Right, lads, what we're going to do now, we'll find out how many people are here to fly along. So, if you're on the Xbox, press 1. If you're on the PC, press 2. And if you're here marvelling in the wizardry that is this airplane, will you press number 3?
Jesus.
Hello, Fireflies. Welcome to the Flying Circus. We live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1900 Zulu time, right here. That sound is incredible, isn't it? Absolutely incredible. So, Keane Lafford reports 28 in the PC, 2 in the console, 130 passengers plus a Murph, and the Eurovision count begins on the 30th of August. Oh, the excitement is mad. Dougal says to Rambo, the dashboard is pretty much indispensable for GA flights now. I agree. It is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, exclamation point wheel, put it into the chat. It'll tell you where you can get this wheel. It works as part of Flow. And it's all thanks to Rambog Mord. Ingenuity at its finest. Look at this. Man alive, isn't it a stunning aircraft? So we're cruising comfortably, 160 knots, 4,500 feet. And look at everyone behind us, look. Jesus. We have a stellar collection of aircraft. Isn't that something? Beautiful. Right, so our front office, this is what it looks like. So what we're going to do, lads, we're going to do a left turn and we're going to go nav mode, right? So, do you know, I have drift in one of me, thumbsticks on the Virpil. I need to fix that. Anyway, right, so we're going to say heading. Let's head north. All the way over 360 degrees. Now, we're going pretty fast with this airplane. We're in the yellow ticker tape area, which is like caution. And you don't have, you know, you have a D&E up here, do not exceed, but we're okay-ish. The wind blowing against us about 6 knots, nothing major, so we're okay for the moment. As we're turning here, we can actually arm our nav mode. GPS is armed. So as we turn north, we'll do another course correction here shortly as we get closer to the airport. So we can go with different detail levels, all our waypoints, airspaces, and then just as it is. We have chart access here as well. How friggin' handy is that? So our METAR, how do we scroll this now? That's how we scroll it. So, wind is 250, 3 knots, clear clouds, altimeter 30.6, which we have. It's not savage. Everything you need, it's all there in the square. We can zoom in here. There we are. Alright, so another course correction. We're going to turn west 270 degrees. Heading. And this should give us a good intercept onto that magenta line. So 270 is now put in. GPS is now captured. So she's going to follow along with the flight plan. Isn't this a gorgeous plane? Look at your views out of here, man. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning. And the sounds, like, this is a great aircraft just to go flying in. All aircraft you can go flying in. But you know what I mean? If you just want to, like, go for a cruise, that's what I meant. A scenic cruise. And it looks awesome. It looks stunning. The sounds are incredible. And we can do all sorts of messing around. Like, we can feather out an engine. We can give it a restart. As I said, it'll windmill away, and you kind of throw it into the right air. It'll restart then. It's gorgeous. Might be a struggle with the Tomcat. Now, as I said, we're on live weather. It's a beautiful sunny day here. Real world. Time of day, in case you're unsure, I have it set to 1812. Local. 1812. And that's kind of how we're looking. Boot it, lad. Oh, we're booting it. You better believe we're booting it. So Poznań, it was one of the key cities in the early Polish state. It's where a fella called Mezco the first ruler of Poland, he was baptized there, making it the country's conversion to Christianity. Poznan's old town is a blend of Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque architecture, with a centrepiece being the town hall, where the famous billy goats butt heads every day at noon. Not far from here, in Turin, was born Nicholas Copernicus, the astronomer who upended centuries of thought by declaring that the Earth revolved around the sun. Today, Poznań, of course, a vibrant city balancing its ancient heritage with modern innovation. It's one of those kind of, you know, hidden gems is Poland. We don't, unless you're Polish or you've been there, you don't know a terrible lot about Poland. Do you know?
That's a big 10
Beautiful country. Ah, but Charlie, good to see you. Tonight on Muppet Show. Jesus. Will he crash? Will he run out of fuel? Will he go the wrong way? Let's watch and find out. Thank you, Vitelli. Very kind of you. Muppet Show. But accurate, you know. Painfully accurate, you know. Right, how are we looking so? Oil temperature and pressure. There's a small difference there between both engines. Is that because of the wind? 5 knots behind us? Maybe. As far as I know, there's no prop sync. Gear and fire test. I should have done that earlier on. Actually, listen, we're ringing it. I haven't flown this plane in ages. Someone said the Spartan was borked. Can't confirm flies as it should. Or can't confirm it flies as it should. I think Ali was having problems with it. We flew it not so long ago, Night Zep, and it behaved. So I don't know, there could be some issue Ali was having with it, maybe? Not quite sure. Correct, there is no prop sync. It's interesting, isn't it? Man, this is like last week. I'm blown away by the cut of the scenery. It's just beautiful. It's gorgeous. And then you have all of us flying there. Look at all the planes we have. This is stunning. Stunning. Loving it. The ECUs should keep the RPM close enough. But we have them set to auto. But you get a warning there straight away. Let's have a look at the electrical system now with the gadget off, right? Let's have a look here now. Map output. Back. Menu. Let's see here now. Engine. Amps. Here we go. Electrical. So yeah, so by turning off one of the alternators, you can see now that the amps on the left side shagged. So that's going to just drain the battery. Bring it back to both, and they balance. So see the way like the right side alternator took over all the work? That's pretty cool. If we drop the right alternator, well, the left one increases. The logic is sound. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. What else do we have over here? So our de-icing. Jesus, look at this. You can turn it on high or low. Windshield, ice light can go on. Now, will that turn it on where I want it on? Yeah, there it is there. See that there? That's your ice light. And the idea behind it is it shines a light onto the surface of the wing. And it should do the same on the far side. Which it does. So there's your ice light. Well, that's kind of cool. And there they are off. So that works. You have pumps here as well. It's so cool, isn't it? The voltage also changes because one is loaded more and it can't keep that voltage. They need to be in sync. Nice. Around 6:30, Mr. Dan. So we're making good old time here as we're cruising along down to our first stop of the night. And the reason we're flying to... Where's my gadget? It's over here, look. I hope the pronunciation is correct. Zielona, Gora. A town known for something you wouldn't expect from Poland, which of course is wine. Nestled in the Lubuz region, this area is the heart of Poland's wine country, producing some of the country's finest wines. The town itself surrounded by rolling hills and vineyards, making it a picturesque stop that feels a world away from the bustling cities. The wine tradition dates back to the 13th century, and every year the town hosts a wine festival that draws visitors from all over Europe. It's a town that's rich in history as it is in flavour. Who'd have known, lads? Who'd have known? But for those who don't know yet, there's a 20% discount for the Tobii Eye tracker, 21 days long. Nice. I use Tobii Eye all of the time. Nunzio, good to see you. I love Tobii Eye. And it can be eyes, head, or just eyes, or just head. I use it for flying, I use it for truck sim. This thing is pretty much virtual reality without the need of a headset. And the immersion that you get by being able to pan your head or just move your eyes around, look at the, you know, the critical point you want to focus on, and you can still use your mouse, zoom in.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Like, I know folks who will, like, exclusively use a Tobii Eye when they fly. They don't bother with, like, preset views or any of that jazz. This is how they look around the aircraft. Pretty handy, isn't it? Hi all from Messina. You're very welcome in. Welcome aboard, man. Flying Teapot is in a C-130. Look at the state. Dougal Matavich is well ahead of us. There's Nighthawk on our wing. Further behind us there is David Bay in a Spitfire. Isn't it mad?
Welcome to my secret underground lair.
But if you haven't kind of taken the delve, I think anyone who owns a Tobii Eye, we all kind of say the same things. Very
dreamy, sleepy,
very
nighty,
good.
snoozy, snooze.
That scared the crap out of me. Thank you, Keen. The Beam Eye tracker, I haven't used it. Gibbo long ago started off with alternatives to like Track IR, and he came across these trackers that you could use with just your phone. And since then, they've really come a long way. So the Tobii Eye, it's a bit of hardware. It performs a lot better in low light conditions. So if you're at room or wherever you sim, the lighting is quite dim. That's where the Tobii Eye really finds its strengths. Beam Eye tracker and everything else, they work quite well, but if the light is anyway dark, that's where Track IR and Beam kind of fall off the shelf because they can't necessarily see your eyes that well. Track IR, you need to wear some sort of a reflector. It needs like an infrared reflector, bit of steel to reflect back. The Beam stuff uses your phone. It's the same kind of technology, you know. I still use Track IR, says Larry. Yeah, I used it for years. And like the only thing that annoyed me with Track IR was the wires. More times I got up from my chair, went to walk out, and I go, oh, yeah, and the whole thing went flying. The beautiful thing with the Tobii Eye, well, there's no wires. You plug it in and it looks at your eyes. That's it. You know what I mean? I had to return the Tobii Eye. It wouldn't work properly. It may have been the AMD motherboard issue, which may not be doing the USB properly. That's a shame, Pete. That's a big shame. Squawk says, Tobii Eye is good for space sims because you can turn all the lights off. There you go. Energizer says, fun fact, I actually broke my toe last week because of the Track IR cables. What? Are you serious? Jesus. Roy says, Track IR also needs a reflective adapter. Yeah. In VR, you're in it. Very true on board. Like, this is the closest you can get to VR. You know what I mean? Without the need of a headset. VR is on a different level altogether. But yeah. Lunarscape, good to see you. When I set up my office, I will set up the Tobii Eye. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like... the next kind of wish list item I have is that of a VR headset. I have a VR headset. I use the Rift S. It still does the job, but you know, I was either going to, I was going to go down the road of either looking at, a sim build a cockpit, right, or get a VR headset. And if you want to go down the road of building an in-sim cockpit, well, you need multiple thousands. If you're going to go down the road of VR, 1,000 to 1,500 bucks, you're pretty much going to get something like the Pimax Crystal Light, which is going to be the best bang for buck when it comes to the performance, the clarity, and also the field of view. It's a very wide field of view. And again, VR Flight Sim guy, if you ever have, questions in relation to VR, he is my one-stop solution for anything VR. Now, look at this. See, I told you we'll make up for it. Our first stop of the night, dead ahead. Dead ahead, friends. So, let me see. What's this airport now? EPZG. Zielona, Gora, right? So according to this, best runway to land is actually runway 06, lads. But the winds are so calm, we can go with 24. So we're going to fly straight in runway 24. So to do this, we're going to come off the power, right back, and we're going to start a descent here by dropping our altitude down to a very simple 1,500 feet, and we're going to put in a steep enough descent here of about 1,000 feet per minute as we descend. Exchange the Pico with the Pimax thanks to VR Flight Sim guy. There you go. The new Pimax headsets look interesting, the cheaper ones. Yeah. I did have to return my Tobii Eye since I had a bad sensor twice, otherwise really good bit of kit. Ooh. Pimax is the dream. So where on the wish list is the new kit? Shh. I could get away with this. I could say you can experience a new kitchen inside virtual reality with this new headset. Come on now, tell me that's not a great idea. It's a great idea. But yes. It's on my list. And yes, there is... Scott's asking about the other thing. When do you get the motion sim? Watch this space. You'll be eating virtual food for the next few months if you do that. You might end up in the virtual meals. Kitchen Simulator 2024. Yes. It'll be grand. Folda is trying to use info. This always happens with my system, and I don't know why it does that. Let me see. Twitch. It's disconnected. Why is it disconnected? Oh, Jesus. I need to authenticate my token. So we go to parallel. parallel42.com/FTC. Copy the token. And paste the token. Connected. Huzzah, hurrah, it worked. Right, try the info button now, lads. We should be working quite well. Quite well. Now, I'm very high here, so this isn't going to work. So we're going to go autopilot off. And rather than making life awkward, well, we're just going to circle around here. So we're going to brake to the left here and just continue our descent as we circle left. All right? Drop it, idle, gear down. Nah, we're too high. We don't want to splash. A graceful swan. But it also means we can fly in over these, over this forest here. So we'll get rid of the old yaw dampener. 140 knots. There's our gear warning. Drop it the gear. Wow, look at the scenery here. Isn't it gorgeous? There's our speed. Straighten her up here a little bit. There we go. Graceful swan. More like a ruptured duck. Jesus. Easy does it now. Isn't it beautiful here, look? Absolutely gorgeous. There we go. There's the runway. Watch your speed.
500.
This is pretty. Oh yeah, this is very low. Beautiful. Jesus, that's gorgeous, isn't it? I don't lose sight of that runway. Don't go too low, Murphy. Easy now. Jesus, look at all the trees, look. Easy. Easy. Let's just hover over the trees. Be grand this edge. Be fine this edge. A ruptured duck made it to Tokyo and China. Wait, what? DA42 looks lovely. I may have found my next GA baby and some G1000. Flying tonight, this is a beautiful airplane. Ah, Muse fan is here. Good to see you, man. Do you have realistic trees? No. It uses Rex. I need to check out that Orbex add-on as well. Now, I do have my graphics fairly tanked. I messed around in those a couple of weeks back. Because anytime I make a video, I put everything on full whack. Mainly like traffic density, trees, and then I tend to dial them back like just a simple switch if needed. Do you know? Okay, we're looking good. Easy does it now for our first landing of the night. Approach speed is fairly lively. We'll dive this off now in a moment. Rex, perfect for you then. Looks like an infamous Airbus approach. Oh, do you remember that? Yeah, Jesus. Alright, hold the power off. Easy. Easy. Easy.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
I nearly bit me tongue! Who was that? Muse! We're gonna fall short of the runway because of it. Jesus. Easy, Murph. Easy. Easy. We'll take it. Oh, there's a terrible stutter. 190 feet per minute. God almighty. You gotta love the way it just like, you know, let's pause the sim. This thing lands fast. It really does. Can I get the flaps in? Oh, Julia. This is kind of pretty. Look at our first stop of the night. Now, it's a country mile to get down, but let's go down with the terminal. Zielona Gora. Who made this place? And how old is it? Because I don't remember this being quite new. All the planes here already, look. We have some military hangars over here. Let's go over and check them out real quick. We like exploring. I'll go down by the old F-14 here. Easy. It says no entry, but sure, listen. It's grand. We rang ahead, right? We rang ahead. this? EPZG. Proper military stuff, wouldn't it? This is from Jarzvecki Design, I think. Isn't it cool looking? We'll get out and do a little bit of exploring here. Right, so tie here now for the minute. Parking brake comes on. And well, let's do a bit of exploring, shall we? I think this is like a tenner or something. I remember seeing this kind of small airfield. It's like, where in the hell is this? And I'm almost certain, smart aviation, look, I'm almost certain there's like a museum or something here. You gotta love the military side of the house. Camouflaged hangars. It's mad looking, isn't it? So we have the civilian. Is there? I think it's a joint military and civilian used facility. We got some open hangars over here. Like, you might be thinking now, Murph, are they actually, you know what I mean? I would say these have a Soviet connection. Do you know what I mean? Ah, Patrick is here. Good to see you. Happy birthday, man. You're very welcome aboard. Yeah, so look at this, look. So here's the civilian side. Anyone name the aircraft? Anyone know what that is? She's in Polish colours. I seriously need to fly this more. I forgot what a great aircraft. It's awesome, isn't it? It's awesome. There was a free download one I downloaded just before we started. Nice. MiG-15. Well done, you lot. Well done, you lot. Is it a 15 or a 17? And this is like when you think of Jarzvecki Design, you know all the modern airports, but he did some savage work in the Polish airport starting off. Look at this, terminals and everything. It's cool looking, isn't it? We'll just leave the camera here. You know, brilliant, right? Does that woman have a beard? Even the women grow beards quicker than Murph. It's pretty nice here. And again, it's a facility. I'm almost certain this was in the Grand Tour as well, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Was there like may not have been this one. Could have been another one. Because they had a massive there was a massive museum at it. But yeah, you can kind of see from the layout anyway. Simon Irish, good to see you. This is only like 10 or 12 euros, I think, over on Sim Market. And again, it's look, when it comes to sceneries, unless you're going to be in and out of the areas, it's very hard. Kind of, oh yeah, I'll buy this. But again, it's a beautiful location, and I love the detail of the hangars and stuff. What's up the road here? Smart aviation. A couple of Technams parked up there. And wait, there's more. Here's our control tower. Jeez, he's done the interior on this as well. Is everyone now all lined up doing their control tower stuff? Pretty cool. Look at all you guys out in the ramp. That's deadly. Now, is that the plexiglass? Yeah, that's plexi. Look at that. That's cool, isn't it? That's very well done. A nice little area, lads. A nice little area. So our first stop of the night, we're going to continue on now and we'll ramble. All the buildings. Jesus, mad. Nothing else we can gawk at. It's just the forest area around it. It's quite nice, isn't it? Beautiful little location. Right, we continue. Shall we continue? Those hangars most have housed the MiG-21s. Small interiors. Yeah. Dougal's liking the plane he's in. Right, that's because the revs are low. Alternator fail. Oh, oil pressure. Oh, hang on, did we lose an engine? We lost an engine! Jesus! How did we lose an engine? Interesting. Right, we shall continue on with our endeavours. And the next waypoint, lads, it's going to be that of Stalag Luft 3, right? Oh, it's a bug? Gotcha. So Stalag Luft 3. Who here in the chat, who watched the movie The Great Escape? Power saving mode, right? Looks like Soviet design. Yeah, it's very Soviet design, isn't it? Very Soviet design. Maybe the best question is to ask, or the better question, who here has not watched the movie The Great Escape? That'd be the more kind of poignant question, wouldn't it? As we taxi up here. Nightsap, brilliant. Nightsap, you haven't seen it. Energizer hasn't seen it. Hemmingbird hasn't seen it. Cian Lafford hasn't seen it. Roy hasn't seen it. Patrick has never seen it. Squawk Torque, you've heard the song, you never saw the movie? You've heard of it though? Haven't watched it, but watched Band of Brothers and Masters of the Air. Masters of the Air kind of touched on it. The younger folks have not seen it. Not into war stuff, me. Nice. Okay, I get that. So, The Great Escape, I'll give you the whole kind of story behind it now once we get airborne. But effectively, it was a movie that was inspired by real world events during the Second World War. It was a Luftwaffe prisoner of war camp. So basically how it worked in Germany at the time of the Second World War, captured Allied soldiers or airmen or, you know, or naval forces. Well, the respective guard, if you like, if you were an Air Force pilot, that meant the Luftwaffe was going to take you into their custody if you were caught, if you were arrested or whatever. If you were a soldier, well then usually the army would take you in. If you're in the navy, well then the navy would take you in. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how they worked it. So Stalag Luft.
With the car and swinger, baby.
Sweet llama Jesus. Hemmingbird just gifted 10 tier 1 subs like an absolute mad joke. God almighty! Is that to get me to shut up? Stop talking rubbish, Murph, will you? Sorry. Hemmingbird, thank you very, very much indeed. That is insane generosity. Thank you very, very much indeed. The Great Escape, what a movie. You have to watch it. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Great cast in it. Great movie. And yeah, it is what it is, right? But anyway, the movie is...
Can I get a refund?
There's no refunds. The movie is inspired on real world events. With a pinch of salt. Hollywood had to take over there somewhere, right? Hemmingbird, thank you very, very much indeed. That's insane. 10 gifted tier 1 subs on the Monday night. We're not even in the pub. Jesus. Thank you very much. So what we're going to do, once we get airborne, we're going to learn a little bit about it. Steve McQueen, yes, James Garner, Richard Attenborough, they were all in it. Thought you selected off. Brilliant. Your hand slipped and it cost you 10 tier 1 subs. Right, let me see. Notch flaps for takeoff. It's a relatively short hop, this one. You can go by the flight plan or exclamation point route, and it'll give you the GPS coordinates to where we're going, right? When was the movie released? 1965, I think? Mid-60s. This is beautiful. Some folks have this scenery. Isn't it beautiful? Lovely little scenery. Anyone who pays to stop Murph from talking will be asked for a refund, which Arnold will deny. Jesus. All right, we'll get ourselves lined up here as we plan for our departure. We'll get ourselves into the air and we'll learn a little bit about The Great Escape. the movie and of course the real world event, right? 1963 to Sunjammer, Jesus. Right, so before we get going here, get ourselves lined up. Altitude for this one, I'm gonna go 4.9 again, I suppose, or 4.5, sorry. So 4.5 into our altitude, that's set. And we get ready. So we're gonna bring the power up to full, hold the brakes, and then blast off. Are we ready? The sounds! Yeah, baby! And we're off. Speed alive. $50.
This baby hits 88 miles per hour. You're gonna see some serious shit.
There's 88. Yep, see Daisy. Positive rate of climb and indicating. Gear up. Tapping the brakes. Heading mode on. We'll climb at about 1,000 feet a minute. Flaps in. Yaw dampener on. Alright. The sounds are amazing, right? After so many hours, I fixed all the Irish hospital helipads. The world update broke. Epic fool, you absolute ledge. Well done. I was talking to a young lady today about a show that is playing, talked about the main actor and said that he sounded like Richard Burton. She wanted to know who it was. Was it Richard Burton? No one would have believed. What an accent, what a voice. Right, so we're going to fly in this heading for a moment. We'll circle around, give everyone the chance to get airborne once again. And while we're here, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do another count. Xbox pilots, press 1. If you're on the PC, press 2. And if you're still here, mad to know about the Great Escape, well, you press number 3. Oh, behave! The sounds of this thing. Absolutely gorgeous. So, 4,500 feet is what we want. We're heading back towards the airport, way off on our left-hand side. And we'll circle around and then we shall continue on. That power back a little bit once we get up to our cruising altitude, 4,500 feet over the ground. Make sure our barrow is correct. 30.06 inches of mercury. We got 24 on the PC, 2 on console, 157 passengers. Mad to know about the Great Escape. There's only 365 days until the 19th of August, 2025. The man can count. His name is Lafford. Keen Lafford. Kinno the producer, yes indeed. This is the Cow's DA42, a remarkable aeroplane. Beautiful, stunning, and just gorgeous. It's just a nice place to sit, isn't it? It's gorgeous. Kozaki found the train station nice. Dougal says to Tommy, really had forgotten how good this masterpiece is. Great job. Dougal, isn't it so nice? Well, it must be so nice from you jumping from your normal kind of mainstay of the airliners with VATSIM to jump into such a complete GA aircraft, right? With the G1000s. It's a very, I don't know, it's a very kind of, careful how we say it. It's more of a intimate flying experience, I suppose, rather than relying heavily on systems. You know? Kinno says, it looks and sounds fantastic. My first time seeing it. Oh, wow. Right, so we're after hitting our cruise altitude, bring the power back, get the load under 90, that'll calm everything down, and we're looking good. Airport is still at our 9 o'clock position. We'll swing her into the left here. And we're going to head 360 degrees as we turn around. I'm sure the first thing Dougal did by instinct was file a flight plan on VATSIM. DA42 is a trainer. They use to train a lot of airline pilots. They do. Also, what's the add-on? Says Kinno. This is called The Wheel by Ranbog Mord. If you put in !wheel into the chat, it'll bring you to a link where you can grab it. It works with Parallel 42's Flow Pro, and it's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Dan. Absolutely awesome, right? So, we're now heading to a place called Stalag 3, and there's coordinates there. So, a poignant fly over the area. It's just outside of the town called Zagan. The site is where one of the most famous events of the Second World War took place, the Great Escape. The camp is used by the Luftwaffe to hold captured Allied airmen, and in 1944, 76 prisoners famously escaped through a tunnel they had dug under the camp. While most of them were recaptured, the story became legendary, immortalised in the 1963 film starring Steve McQueen. Flying over this site, we'll have a look down to see what sort of justice the owl satellite imagery can give us. So let me see, we're going to arm GPS mode once again. And we're going to turn our heading to intercept, which I think roughly a heading of about 290 should do the trick. And that should do the job. So, The Great Escape, the classic 1963 film, that's as much part of the cinematic history as the real event itself in the Second World War. But like all good movies, it took a few, shall we say, liberties. The film, let's start with the movie. Steve McQueen on a motorbike, jumping fences in one of the most iconic scenes in film history. Well, it's got a star-studded cast, dramatic tunnels named Tom, Dick and Harry, and a daring escape plan that seems almost too good to be true. And well, in some ways, it was. The movie captures the essence of camaraderie, the sheer audacity of the escape, and the heartbreak. Well, we won't, spoiler alert, but like, it's based on historic events, right? Hollywood did add a little bit of kind of Hollywood to it. They dialed it up. In reality, Steve McQueen's character is a composite. There was no American really involved in the escape. Most of them were done through the British. And there were certainly no motorbike stunts, but hey, it's Hollywood. Who's going to complain about a little excitement? The real event, however, Stalag 3 was designed to be escape-proof. The barracks raised off the ground to prevent tunnelling. The Germans actually picked the area because the soil had a lot of sand composite. It was made up with a lot of sand, which made it extremely difficult to tunnel because, well, it would collapse. So the Germans specifically chose this region to house this prison. That was the idea behind it, right? So, where are we at here now? The Germans didn't count on the sheer determination of the Allied airmen. The escape was meticulously planned, with 600 prisoners involved in digging 3 tunnels. They were codenamed Tom, Dick and Harry. Hello. 600 were involved, right? They used scavenged materials and even repurposed bedboards to shore up the tunnels. 600 of them were involved in creating all of this. Dougal says, Murph, where are you going? We're heading onto our GPS coordinates, Dougal. Follow me! Stalagluft 3. So I did a bit of a UE, but now we're heading on to where it is we need to get to. Let's hope. Oh, we're going the right way. It's grand.
Yeah. We're going the wrong way.
Shh. It's fine. It's fine. Now, where are we? We're over here. So you often hear the expression Tom, Dick and Harry, yeah? On the night of March 24th, 1944, 76 men crawled through the tunnel to freedom. The escape was incredibly risky, and tragically, most of the men were recaptured. Of the 76, only 3 made it to freedom. The rest were caught, and even 50 were executed on Hitler's orders. A brutal reminder of the stakes involved. The movie captures the spirit of the escape. It adds a layer of action that didn't necessarily kind of reflect reality. There was no McQueen on a motorbike. There was no grand chase throughout the countryside. The real escape was quieter, was more desperate, and ultimately more tragic. But what both the film and the real-life event share is the testament of courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit of those who dared to defy their captors. Absolutely nuts. Now I have more information about it because, like everything, when you start doing a bit of research, I learned an awful lot more, right? So, camp life. In the movie, you don't necessarily see it. You see a number of like the billets that they have to stay in. You can see that they had like little gardens for recreation, but they also had an awful lot more. I'll do a bit of reading here for you, right? The German military followed a practice whereby each branch of the military was responsible for the POWs of equivalent branches. Hence, the Luftwaffe was normally responsible for any Allied aircrew taken prisoner. That included captured naval aviators, such as members of the British Fleet Air Arm. In a few cases, non-Air Force personnel were also held at the facility. Stammenlager Luft, literally main camp air, was the Luftwaffe name for a POW camp. While the camp initially held only POWs who were officers, it was not known by the usual terms for such camps. They later added compounds for non-commissioned officers or NCOs. Now, some of the facilities, right? Where's this now? Some of the facilities on the camp. So, to keep them busy to wait out the war, they built a theatre, they had sports grounds, recreational areas, and the idea was they wanted to keep them relatively comfortable and preoccupied so that there wouldn't be escape attempts. That was the idea. And they used Stalagluft 3 as kind of like a hub, get all the eggs into the one basket. That was the idea, right? And for the most part, it was relatively successful. In terms of their food and how they were treated, wasn't bad. I think the normal intake for an inactive soldier was something like 1900 calories a day. The Germans provided them with something like 1800, and then they used the provisions that the Red Cross would send out to kind of bolster up the calorie intake. So they didn't necessarily starve. They weren't overfed, but they didn't starve. The idea was treat them fairly right. The camp commandant, who got in serious trouble, who followed the Geneva Convention, and not only that, there were a number of Germans there at the time who weren't necessarily happy about the state of the nation, and they actually aided a lot of the prisoners in terms of trying to escape, particularly when it came to, forging papers and getting them passes and all this sort of stuff. Then when, the idea was local areas or villages or towns or whatever, they were also on the same hymn sheet. They didn't like how the country was going, and they were more than happy to offer assistance to anyone who was trying to break out. Now, they had a terrible job. You had all sorts of law enforcement at the time, not to mention the Gestapo and all this sort of jazz. There was a whole headache of all of this going on. But in terms of the camp itself, they did have an awful lot of facilities. It sounded okay. It sounded quite hospitable, do you know? The camp's guards, there was 800 of them based at the camp. They were either too old for combat duty, or they were young men after coming back from Retora duty to kind of get a bit of respite. Because the guards were Luftwaffe personnel, the prisoners were accorded far better treatment than that granted to the other POWs in Germany. Food was always a matter of concern, but as I said, It was 2,150 calories. That's what it was, which wasn't bad. The Germans even gave them like an in-camp currency, and they would have issued officers the in-camp currency the same as their normal wage. And the idea what they do with the in-camp currency that they created, well, they'd bundle all the Red Cross supplies together, and then the officers could use their in-camp currency to buy it. And then, you know, once the NCOs got involved, a third was then made available to them. They even sold a very, you know, low content beer every month or so. The idea was keep them there and keep them happy and let them wait out the war. But as the duty was of soldiers on the Allied side, as it was with the Germans, but you can't. Their number one job is get out of there and get back to the fight. Thus came up with the idea of a breakout. So it started originally, the plan was to have 3 tunnels to dig out under. And like the Germans had these seismic sensors. They had all this stuff designed to, you know, detect an escape. And like reading up on the equipment that was used, because as I said, the camp commandant, he got in all sorts of trouble afterwards because they were like, you let that happen? They made away with like something like, you know, 300 shovels, 1,000 and odd planks of wood. How did they manage all of this? And the film kind of goes into that. The movie goes into that. It shows them as they try to get all the supplies and the deception and the secrecy around it. The movie pulls that off very, very well. And of course, it is a Hollywood movie. It's entertaining. It is entertaining. And it's if you haven't watched it, you gotta watch it. Like it's one of the classics, the war classics. Do you know? It was the best organised recreational programme of any POW camp in Germany. Each compound had athletic fields and volleyball courts. The prisoners participated in basketball, softball, boxing, touch football, volleyball, table tennis, and even fencing. Leagues were organised for most. There was also a pool to store water for firefighting, but it was also occasionally used for swimming. Many amenities were made possible by the Swedish lawyer Henry Soderberg, who was the YMCA representative to the area and frequently brought this to the camp's sport equipment. Religious items supporting the work of chaplains and wherever for each camp's band and orchestra had well-equipped libraries and equipment. The music and entertainment. Now, I'm not saying it was a holiday camp, far from it, but the first escape occurred in October 1943 in the East Compound, conjuring up to a modern Trojan horse. The prisoners constructed a gymnastic vaulting horse, largely from plywood and Red Cross parcels. The horse was designed to conceal men, tools, and containers of soil. On each day, the horse was carried out the same spot near the perimeter fence, while the prisoners conducted gymnastics exercise above. A tunnel was dug below. At the end of each day, a wooden board was placed over the tunnel entrance and covered with surface oil. The gymnastics disguised the real purpose of the vaulting horse and kept the sound of the digging being detected from microphones. For 3 months, Lieutenant Michael Codner, Flight Lieutenant Eric Willems, and Flight Lieutenant Oliver Philpott, in shifts of 1 or 2 diggers at a time, dug over 30 metres, that's 100 feet, of a tunnel, using bowls and shovels and metal rods to poke through the surface of the ground to create air holes. No shoring was used except near the entrance. And on the evening of the 19th of October, the 3 lads made their escape. Williams and Codner were able to reach the port of Stettin, where they stowed away on a Danish ship and eventually returned to Britain. Philpott, posing as a Norwegian margarine manufacturer, was able to board a train to Danzig, now Gdansk, and from there stowed away on a Swedish ship headed for Stockholm, from where he was repatriated to Britain. Accounts of this escape were recorded in the book Goon in the Block and later retitled The Wooden Horse by Williams. Now, the name Goon, it's interesting. It was kind of a joke by the Allies there because they used to call the German guards the goons or goons, right? And when the Germans questioned, you know, what's this goon? Oh no, that means German officer. They didn't know any better. They're like, oh, okay. So they called them goons and they went with it. You know, mad. The Great Escape In March, squadron leader Roger Bushell conceived a plan for a mass escape from the North Compound, which took place on the night of the 24th and 25th of March 1944. He was being held with other British and Commonwealth airmen, and they ran the escape committee that managed all escape opportunities from the North Compound. Falling back on his legal background to represent his scheme, Bushell called a meeting of the escape committee to advocate his plan. So the Great Escape Tunnel Harry, or you have Tom, Dick and Harry, you have three main tunnels, right? They were dug for the escape. The operation was so secretive that everyone must refer to each tunnel by its name. Bushell took it so seriously that he threatened to court-martial anyone who even uttered the word tunnel. Tom began in a darkened corner next to a stove chimney in Hut 123 and extended west into the forest. It was found by the Germans and dynamited. The entrance for the tunnel for Dick was hidden in a drain sump in the washroom of Hut 122 and had the most secure trap door. It was to go in the same direction as Tom, and the prisoners decided that the hut would not be suspectful, or not be a suspected tunnel site, as it was further from the wire than the others. Dick was abandoned for escape purposes because the area when it would have surfaced was cleared for camp expansion. Dick was used to store the soil and supplies as a workshop. Harry, which began in Hut 104, went under the German administration area, and the isolation cells to emerge at the woods to the northern edge of the camp. The entrance to Harry was hidden under a stove. Ultimately used for the escape, it was discovered as the escape was in progress with only 76 of the planned 220 prisoners. That's when they got out. The Germans filled it with sewage and sand and sealed it with cement. After the escape, the prisoners started digging another tunnel called George, but this was abandoned when the camp was then later evacuated. So on the site today, what's here today? Well, it's the remains, and they have a... we're just over here now. They have, whatchamacallit, they have there's a museum on site, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to off the autopilot. We're going to bring the power right back. Get that speed down. Quick check outside. And we're going to try and get us as close to the region as we can. So it's a railway station. And we'll have an old gawk here to see how it's all coming together, right? I reckon we can land this here. This looks promising. Where Nightsep is down there. So we're just after going for a landing. So we're going to try and put it down here, lads, and we'll have a look around. But it's a great entertainment story as it's a war film, right? As in the movie, and it's a great story as one of the many stories from the Second World War. Like I highly recommend you watch the movie. But I just found it fascinating, the story of, like, it's a prisoner camp designed to keep prisoners there, relatively comfortable as well, to wait out the war. And then you learn about, you know, how they managed and conceived to break out of there. And absolute horrors occurred afterwards, with some 50 prisoners being executed. Like, it's horrific. And there would have been an awful lot more potentially executed, but the worry was, of course, well, if the Germans did that to the Allies, what was to stop the Allies from kind of, you know what I mean, doing the same? That was one of the main reasons behind it. So we're going to try and get ourselves in for a nice landing here, and we'll just kind of explore the area. It's a huge area, massive area. Kazaki says, you lost me. I couldn't copy the long latitude from the website. Ooh. Well, what you could do, Kazaki, if you can, you should see where we are now on the map. Hopefully. We'll get ourselves in for a landing here. We'll have a closer look. Sunjammer says, I have a connection to the escape. My grandfather was one of the RAF MPs that had the job to find... Oh, really? Jesus. It's just, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like, there's a great... some of the stories you hear from this period, from during the war, Crazy things happened. Jeremy Clarkson did a great documentary. It's called The Greatest Raid of All. It's on YouTube. Have a look at it. Jeremy Clarkson, The Greatest Raid of All. He also does another very good one all about the Victoria Cross. Again, another cracker. Great documentary. But what fascinated me in relation to The Great Escape wasn't just about the movie and the fact that they escaped. It was getting the factual information that, well, a lot of Germans helped them. A lot of Germans did. And I think, you know, the guy who was in charge of the camp afterwards, you know, he was involved in the June 20 Operation Valkyrie, you know, to sort your man. Do you know what I mean? Right, let's see, can we put it down gently? It's going to be bumpy. See? There we go. 258 will do it. Easy. See? Okay. We're down anyway. Yeah, the Victoria Crossing's very good. Very good. Right, let's sit tight here for a moment and let me see. A bit of drone cam. And let's go, let's do a bit of exploring here. We'll get up to altitude and have a look, right? And we'll get some, we'll try and get a bit of context here of where we are and what it is we're doing. So, let's have a look. Okay. The sounds of aircraft is phenomenal. Like, we talk about scale, right? Incredible. Now, from this location, a little bit further up, I think this is where the museum is located. So let me just get my bearings here for a second. If I do this, there's the railway. So if we go up this road, I think this is where the museum is located. Which would be up this neck of the woods and over here. So this position, what are we? About 150 miles or so south of Berlin? Maybe a little bit more. So I think here is where the museum is. And we have a Firefly down there. Who's that? Sunjammer is there. So what we have here, this is where the museum is located. And a lot of the camp went through the forest. A lot of it. So let's bring up some maps here. Let's have a look. So you can see here now the end of Harry Tunnel. So it's all marked, but like they went underground. They were 30 feet underground. 30 feet underground, right? What else do we have here now? That was the end of Harry. That's the Harry Tunnel. So it's all under this. It's all underground. That's where that's what they used to get out, right? Entrance of Harry showing the outline of the building. So there's nothing there now, you know. Oh, Dougal, I agree so much. Regardless of what conflict, lessons just are not learned. There's a memorial made to the 50, but do they have like, there's a picture here, there's a map shown, and I think they did this for the movie. This sort of stuff. So a model of the set used to film the movie The Great Escape. It depicts a smaller version of a single compound in the Stalag Luft 3. The model is now at the museum near where the prison camp was located. So that's kind of how the camp would have looked. High fences, towers all over the shop, and that was the sort of idea. And when I watched the Grand Tour Eurocrash, Clarkson and Hammond visit here, and they're chatting about it, and they get a tour, and they're actually fascinated by it, you know, fascinated by it. So it's best known for the two escape plots. One was in 1943, became a basis of the fictionalized film The Wooden Horse, based on the book by Eric Williams, who escaped. And then the second breakout, the so-called Great Escape, was conceived by squadron leader Roger Bushell of the RAF, and was authorised by a senior British officer at Stalag Luft, Herbert Massey. A fictionalized version was the movie The Great Escape, which was based on a book by former prisoner Paul Brickhill. The camp was liberated by Soviet forces in January 1945. The site of the former POW camp is now the Stalag Luft 3 Prisoner Camp Museum. So, The Great Escape, the movie, right? Steve McQueen, James Gardner, Richard Attenborough, James Donald, Charles Bronson, like massive cast, massive. And the plot is all there. You can read up about it. And what else do we have here now? Production, 1963. They worked with the United Artists to adapt Paul Brickhill's 1950s book, The Great Escape. He'd been a very minor member of X-Organisation of Stalag Luft 3, who acted as one of the stooges who monitored German movements in the camp. The story had been adapted as a live TV production screened by NBC as an episode of the Philco Television Playhouse on the 27th of January 1951. The live broadcast was praised for engineering and ingenious set design for the live broadcast, including creating the illusion of tunnels. The film's screenplay was adapted by James Clavell, W.R. Burnett and Walter Newman. Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson and James Coburn all recently worked with director John Sturges on the 1960 motion picture The Magnificent Seven. I'd heard of that movie as well. Steve McQueen had been credited with the most significant performance. Critic Leonard Maltin wrote, "The large international cast is superb, but the standout is McQueen. It's easy to see why this cemented his status as a superstar." We have a picture here with Steve McQueen and a former Canadian POD or POW who was part of the real Great Escape. Mad, isn't it? Richard Attenborough, of course, is in it. Squadron leader Bartlett, Big X, based on Roger Bushhill, the South African-born British POW. So Richard Attenborough, a man who needs no introduction there at all, right? David's brother, David Attenborough. This guy was in Jurassic Park. If you don't know who he is, Richard Attenborough, yeah. Who else then? So many more. The film was made in location in Germany in the at the Bavarian Film Studio in the Munich suburb, and where the sets for the barrack interiors and tunnels were constructed. The camp was built in a clearing of a forest, and the German town near the real camp was Sagen, now Zagen in Poland. It was renamed Neustadt in the film. Many scenes were filmed in and around the town of, I think it's Fusen in Bavaria, including its railway station. The motorcycle chase scenes with the barbed wire fences were shot on meadows outside of this area, and the barbed wire that Hills crashes into before which was done by his friend, fellow cycle enthusiast who resembled McQueen from a distance. There's the replica of the motorcycle used. That cool looking, isn't it? Welcome to Jurassic Park. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Johnny Carson later tried to congratulate McQueen at the jump during the broadcast of The Tonight Show. So Johnny Carson was like, that was a great jump he did. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's an old movie. Pretty sure you get it on YouTube if you just have a no look. The Great Escape continues to receive acclaim from modern critics. On review, Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 94%. Still going. Poll in the UK regarding the family film that television viewers would most want to see on Christmas Day, The Great Escape came third. Jesus. That's mad, isn't it? 70th anniversary of the escape, the RAF staged a commemoration of the escape attempt with 50 serving personnel, each carrying a photograph of one of the shot men. 2019, the RAF held another event for the 75th anniversary. There was a screening of the film at the London Hammersmith Apollo, hosted by Dan Snow, and the film was simulcast with other cinemas throughout the UK. A fictional made-for-television sequel was released in 1988 with Christopher Reeve, that was Superman, directed by Judd Taylor, who plays Second Lieutenant Goff in the 1963 film. The film is not a true sequel, as it dramatises the escape itself, just as the original film does, although mostly using the real names of the individuals involved. It depicts the search for the culprits responsible for those after the 50 executed Allied officers. Donald Pleasance appears in a supporting role as a member of the SS. I didn't know there was a sequel. Do you know there was a sequel? Jesus. A film. Yeah. Christopher Reeve did Superman in it. Come on out with that. But anyway, lads, The Great Escape. And look at, like it, hate it, not want nothing to do with it, or just be intrigued by it. Beyond all of that, isn't it absolutely incredible we can visit these places and learn about them thanks to Microsoft Flight Simulator? Like, isn't it mad? Isn't it mad? Like, here we all are on a Monday night. and we're after finding this place, and we can see it. I mean, this is accurate satellite imagery of the area. Isn't that mad? Like, that's why the sim is just, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, right, it's time to get going. So, I left us in this position. Both my engines cut out now, balls. Okay, the left didn't want to start. The left started. Right, we're grand. Okay, we're good now. It helps us remember what soldiers went through as well. Yeah. Parasave mode, right? The bike is a Triumph, possibly a Norton, definitely not BMW. It's a Triumph bike, is it? Ecor says AMD has chipset updates for which you need to download an installer. The update may fail, then you have to uninstall all the AMD stuff. Oh, Jesus. Ecor, that's huge news. McQueen wanted to do the bike stunt himself, but the insurance wouldn't let him. Really? Jesus. Right, brakes off. Hey, nice Spitfire here with us. So we'll go for a not too flaps to take off. We'll get ourselves turned around. And hopefully with a bit of luck, we can take off. El Palito, yes. DA42 VI. Can we see the bike again? Sure. It's a Triumph. It says it right there. That's cool looking, isn't it? One, please. Right. Guess I'll turn around. So this leg we have about 67 nautical miles to go. I'm trying to think where's going to be the safest takeoff. But sure, says you, anywhere. Wow, look at all the planes here. This is awesome. Mr. Dan, I don't know how you're going to get that 14 off the ground, but sure, listen, let's see what happens. Right, power coming in. Off the brakes. And let's see what happens. And of course, the music that they used for the movie, The Great Escape, incredible. Do. Oh, be Jesus! You're up, you devil, you! We're airborne. You're up. And let's circle around. Yeah, damping her in. Flaps are up. The viewpoint of that engine there, doesn't it look incredible, lads, doesn't it? It's a whole load of wing looking at you. Hey Nigel, good to see you. Had a story in regards to The Great Escape about a teacher I had. Mod settings would not allow it. Ah, Nigel, if you want to drop that message to any of our mods, they'll see it through the mod. Or the bot. The bot. I think that The Battle of Britain is my favourite World War II movie, but it's close. Battle of Britain's a great movie. Man, the sound of this plane is awesome, isn't it? What a sight. A very cool location on our series, isn't it? Let's do one of these. state of that. Now, what do we need to do? I think 3,500 feet is going to be tickety-boo here, isn't it? So altitude, let's call you 3,500. We're going to go autopilot. We're going to go nav.
Hello there.
And we're going to go altitude hold. And we'll get our power down. Hey, Strap, good to see you. Winkle Gaster has resubscribed to the channel for 10 months, man. Thank you very, very much indeed. Cheers. Gibbo, you're absolutely mad. Would you ever, like, stop doing things and go to bed? Gibbo has officially turned into Bob Ross, ladies and gentlemen. The man is making liveries to bait the band. Gibbo, you're a legend. Not only does he do the flight sim stuff, he does the truck sim stuff. And not only does he do the truck sim stuff, well, he does the flight sim stuff. Wait, what? Yeah, that's what he does, right? Lads, for the legend apparent, the legend that is, can we get some pint of Guinness emotes into the chat for the one and only Gibbo Ireland? Here's a little sneak peek of what Gibbo's working on. Let's just leave that there for a moment. Yeah, baby! Jesus, is that 3,500 feet? Don't follow me! Right, said Fred, but he didn't write. He left. Amazing stuff from Gibbo, isn't he, lad? He's given up all his free time to do things, paintings and stuff. The man's a legend. Right, how's a little aeroplane getting on? Isn't it brilliant, this aircraft, isn't it? So, lads, Mr. Tommy is here in the chat as well. Do be sure to say absolute legend to Mr. Tommy, because he's part of the development of this aeroplane. What's your speed, Murph? Yeah, big eat it. Now, what was it doing? Oh, yeah. You're all right. You're all right. Who? Says Mr. Tommy. Who? Hey, Trixillian, good to see you. Do you know what I love, right? In a night that's been, like, dominated by Airbus, general aviation, it's so strong in flight sim, and it's great because flight sims have always historically they've always been about the airliners, the tube liners, the VAT liners, right? Which excellent, what a great experience to have. But when it comes to flying general aviation in Microsoft Flight Simulator, nothing comes close to it, I don't think. I mean, flying with your mates, going exploring, this in itself, you know, you can do the realistic stuff. Of course you can. You can do let's fly by the numbers, fly by the books, fly it, you know, as professionally as you like. But it's always nice to kind of step out and do this with you lot. I mean, we're just a group, a community, exploring, learning things, having the crack, showing off our skills. I absolutely love it. Malton Aviation, good to see you. I want to learn how to fly these things and join in. Can I only fly the A320? What's a good starter? If you want general aviation, this is very good. The Comanche, the M500, the Just Fly Tomahawk, the Cessna 310, the 414. It's pretty much up to your own preference, really. I think the most stable and easiest aircraft to learn, just as they do in the real world, something like a Cessna 172 or a Cessna 150 or 152. Anything like that is it'll really get you up and going. The Mitsubishi too. Boston Elf, good to see you, man. I find that some GA usually fly lower to the ground, and MSFS isn't great when you look at the terrain that close. Jesus, I opened my window. Yeah, like certainly this altitude we're at now, kind of the 3,000 feet for the most part, 3,000 to 400 feet over photogrammetry or even just basic scenery like this tends to be the sweet spot. However, when we see Flight Sim 2024, it's to be an awful lot better. An awful lot better. Like, I'm so excited for that. Right, we'll cruise along here. We'll go up about 130-ish. I can't wait. Cannot wait for Flight Sim 2024. And like, you know, look at the amount of incredible aircraft we have already. Right? Ah, Nightsep, thank you very much indeed. Gifted a tier 1 sub to Boston Elf. Thank you very much, Nightsep. I like the name that they call the 414, the Chancellor. Yeah. Piper, like, some of the names of aircraft are pretty cool. This is really known as the Twin Star, the DA42. And like then you have, like, you know, Beechcraft, Bonanzas, King Airs, like the Cessna 172, it's a Skyhawk. The game is even prettier at sunset. I agree. I only have a side stick. Is it worth getting a yoke? Malton, I use a joystick. I don't use a yoke. And the advantage is if you can only get one or the other, the advantage of using a joystick means that you're able to fly anything. Airliners, jets, general aviation, and of course, helicopters. So if you have a yoke, you're a little bit restricted when it comes to helicopter flying. Tommy uses an Xbox controller. Would you not get yourself an old joystick, Tommy? Come on out of that. The Cloudmaster, Starship, the Duke, absolutely. There's some really great names, isn't there? There's some great names for aircraft. You have an X-52 in the closet. That'll work. The Widgeon. That's a great name, isn't it? The Goose. Galaxy Lifter. Galaxy Lifter. It's too big and clunky. I hear you. Like, I'm mad to get, like, a yoke. Mad, because I'm saying, yeah, that's going to be brilliant. But, like, my style of flying now, I prefer a HOTAS. I can control pretty much everything I need to, just on the joystick and the throttle, you know? The Max, yeah. The Skywagon. Another great one. Comanche. Some really, really good aircraft names out there. Look how good this plane looks, though. And the detail on it as well, look. Isn't it gorgeous? Stunning, lads. Stunning. Caravan. Hercules. Best name ever. The Herc is a great name. Tomcat. Hornet. Eagle. You know. Larry says, I'm stupid enough to use a yoke in a helicopter. Gypsy Moth. Citation, Avanti, Warthog, Tomahawk, not the best reputation. The Royal Turbine Duke. Some of the names are awesome. Some funny aircraft names, right? I don't know. The Bearcat, Stratofortress, Thunderbolt, Galaxy, Stratotanker, Phantom, of course, the Handy Page Victor, The Viscount. What else do we have? The Flying Boxcar, right? Orion, Dragon Lady, Bowfighter, Super Stallion, Thunder Chief, the Yak, the Clobber, Concorde. They named the missile they were testing in the 50s as a Snark. Jesus. A new kitchen for the missus. Warhawk, Poseidon, that's a great name. Blackbird, Aardvark, Avenger, Spectre, Mosquito, Sabre, Hustler, Skyraider, Vulcan, Crusader, Catalina, Lion, or Lysander. How do you pronounce it? Is it Lysander, is it? Hurricane, Hawkeye, Swordfish, Lancaster. Here's one for you now, right? If you were going to name your own custom-built aircraft, let's say you went out and you were going to make your own aeroplane, what would you call it? Let me know. Put it into the chat. What would you call your aeroplane? Oh, look, there's a plane with an engine turned off. The Mactavian. I love it. Skytanic. Refund. Scorpion. Oh, I love this, lads. This is brilliant. I love that. The Mactavian. Welcome aboard the Mactavian. The super sleek machine. The Molten Monolith. Macker. Boomer. The write-off. Blackadder. Patrick Hollies. Maddie. I know, Patrick, no. Inspire. The Egerton. Wounded Duck. Wyvern. Bacon and Eggs. Mayday. Jeff. The Skoda. The Sterling Magic Bus. That's brilliant. Jesus, there's a Duke with no propellers. That will buff out. The Stradfly. The Stradivly. The kitchen. The Piper kitchen. Brilliant. I love it. The Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
That is a great one, this is. What would you name your airplane? You gotta love that, right? It's like naming boats. What would you name your airplane? Planey McPlaneface. Money Pit. The Leitrim. The Skodicus. The Skodicus. The Buzzer. Barney. The Buzzer's a great name. Pancake, 2 models, Short Stack, and the Butter Tower. Brilliant. Hey, Cheno, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. The Wickelonian. The Crashinator. Little engine that could. I love that one, Mr. Tommy. Unsinkable 2. What happened to the first one? The Yorkmobile. It's a great plane, really nice. We think it's awesome. It's the Yorkmobile. Stargazer. Lil Mac. Nimbus. True story. I have a ship in Elite Dangerous called the Scruffy Murphy. I just watched the Van McColomini and they're brilliant. Did you see him? That's a great movie. I love some of these names. Unsinkable 2. I love that. The Trampoliner. The Wingnut. That's a great name. Remove before flight. Chicken Hawk. Andy Starship. Elite Dangerous Stream. Oh, the Blaze. I haven't played that in years. I put like 6 hours into it and I was like, yeah. That's really, really good. Not a step. Pete O'Heat. This time it won't crash. The Wingnut is the name for the pilot. Not paid for. Oh, they're genius names. 6 hours. I've over 5,000 and I've not played it since they gave us space legs. Jesus. Doo-doo. How's my flying? The Rental. The Inop 4. Are we there yet? Phil McCann. Oh, brilliant. Hangar Queen. We had a truck in work, in real life. We had a truck in the fleet called the Ditch Hunter. It didn't have a good. It didn't have a good history. We called it the Ditch Hunter. The G-string? Jesus. In all honesty, if I had a plane, I'd call it Bob. Here's Bob the plane. It's a nice plane. Relatively calm and quiet. Musical healers flying down there in a TBM. Nice. These planes are so nice. John, thank you very much indeed. Welcome to the channel. Bob with leather seats is called Robert. Hang on to your boots. Baldric. The Baldric. The F-127 Baldric. Bald Eagle. That's a great name. The Bald Eagle. Don't call it a Boeing. Blarney. Seatbelts. What are those? The Flash Heart. Oh man, what a great airplane this is. Sounds like if you could name a plane, boats are like moreover. I got this. Hangar Studios, yes. Great to see you, my guy. Hope you're well. The Gikna, aluminium overcaster. I like that one. We're going to be flying in Hangar Studios Navion, the L-17B, a little bit later in the series. I would paint mine with the color change paint and name it Gibbo. All right, let's have some fun with the airplane. Let's kill an engine for the crack. Did you see the reaction? Did you just see that? So we have all sorts of jiggery pokery. Check the gear. Speed is good, but it's going to drop. We're going to try and let the left engine do all the work. Easy, easy. So there goes the right engine. And you can see that the aircraft is maintaining power, knowing now that all the electrics, if you like, in particular the alternators, are being drawn from the left-hand side. Now here's the beauty. If you want to kind of kick-start this without having to go through an engine startup, well, this is what we're going to do. We turn on this switch here. See the way it's trying to windmill? Turn on the switch. Add some fuel. And if we put enough air into this, it'll fire up itself. Are you ready? So what we're going to do, increase our speed, take us out of autopilot, and let's just see what we can do here. We got enough wind hitting that prop, it'll fire itself and start. Nearly. 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 Come on, Betsy. See it there? And there she goes. How awesome is that? This aircraft is using the physics in the sim for the air blowing against that prop. It'll restart the engine, provided, you know, you haven't broken it, and the fact that you have your fuel systems working. It's incredible. It's custom physics. Well, it's using the sim. Yeah. So it's using the sim. How do we phrase this correctly? So the sim is pushing air at a surface, and what cows have managed to done, they've created their own custom engine that will depict or react to that wind hitting the surface, and then physics. It's amazing. Speaking of engines, I just ran out of fuel. Jesus. It isn't suggested to turn into the dead engine. Ooh, unfeather. Custom physics. Isn't it cool though? It's magic, yeah. Magic. What's on my warnings? Why is this still failed? Do I need to reset it? Why did the right fail? What did we do wrong here now? Right ECB fail. Okay. How do we fix this, Tommy? It's not happy that you killed the fuel. Is it shagged? Oh, it is. It didn't like that at all. There we go, we cleared it. Brilliant. It'll become active and clear itself. Select the right side, yeah. You killed the engine, force restarted it, and every flash of light, that's another $500. Isn't it cool that you can do that though, isn't it? You gotta love it. Never have I wanted an F-14 engine to hurry up starting. You're missing out all the glorious sounds, of course. Right, lads, we are getting very close now to our final stop of the night. But what we might do, we might fly in over the city first. Squawk Talk, how do you pronounce the devil again? Very cool, but is it worth the maintenance bill? Probably not. But that's why we love simulators. John, yes. Join Southeast Asian server. Wrocław. We're going to Wrocław. There's a bridge! Ah, brilliant. Okay, let's go heading. Left turn. And I'm going to head in under the city. We're going to head over the city first, then we'll double back. How's that for the plan? Oh, look at that though. Isn't it gorgeous? Now we can probably drop altitude. We're currently at 3.5. Let's go 1500 just for the sheer crack of it. Down the road you go, 1,000 feet a minute, and let's see what sort of bejesus we're going to find down here. And we'll watch our speed while we're doing it. Alright. More left. We're going to catch up with the river, fly low, go under that bridge, and then check out the city. That is what it is we're going to do. What you did there would require a fuel pump inspection and timing chain inspection. Probably a good €5,000 bill. And you know what? I do it again! In the sim, of course. Yeah, like consequence? Jesus, could you imagine? I wonder what they're going to do with the career mode in 2024. Imagine, I'm not saying this is what they're going to do, but imagine you mishandle an aircraft, it costs money, and now that airplane is grounded until you got to replace it or repair it. Imagine if that was a feature. Madness. Is this the plane with the parachute? Negative. In real life, I think it has one. Does it have a parachute in real life? A ballistic gadget? I think it does, doesn't it? I don't see it there, though. Wait now. Wait now. Do not paint. No, that's our GPS. No parachute. The single one does. Cirrus do. I know Cirrus do them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, look at this. Look at the reflections here on the side. This is very pretty, lads. Hang on a second. This is stunning. We'll do one of these. Wasn't it only absolutely gorgeous looking? Look at the state of this place. This is stunning, lads. Gorgeous. Isn't that something? Absolutely stunning, lads, isn't it? Right, we're going to take this in for a full stop landing. So again, it's using Drzewecki design scenery. He's got so much available for Poland. Highly recommend you pick it up. The number of airports, the number of city updates. He's done a ton of stuff. So landing gear coming out. Let the speed bleed off here a little bit. And we'll head straight in for the airport. Man, look at that sunset arrival. Isn't that gorgeous, isn't it? Stunning. Bit of a Toby eye on here to help us out. Beautiful planes. Absolutely stunning. Alright, Rambo in. Make sure our barrow is set correctly. What a great airplane this is, though. And the lighting of this aircraft as well at night time. Yeesh. Beautiful. Look at that, though. Isn't it gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous, lads. Right, let's see what we can do here. A headwind of about 7 knots. Speed is looking good. Yaw dampener off.
500.
We've got full flaps. Hey, Briggsy, good to see you. Approach is looking good. We're below that glide, but again, that's more for airliners like with a 3 degree or 5 degree, so we're grand. Easy. Alright, bleed off the speed a little bit. Easy. Oh, it's so nice with that sunset, isn't it? Look at that. Gorgeous. Alright, easy does it. Hold it. 200. It's a lively run. Lively, lively. Flaps in. Small bit of power. Alright. The descent I'm flying into Vancouver right now is really spectacular. Nice, Sterling. Speed looking good. Alright. Look at that, though. Isn't that beautiful? Stunning. So it's known as Copernicus Airport, and this one here is from Fly to High. Another scenery that's available over on Sim Market. I think it's on Contrail as well. It's again, lads, it's about 10 or 11 bucks. That's all. Like, there's some really good sceneries in Poland, and for not much, you know, for not much. Beautiful. Man, all the different planes we have with us tonight. That was stunning, wasn't it? Let's have a look here now. Might be a little bit hard to see everyone, but sure, listen, we'll play that one by ear. So I guess that's turned around. Cracking route. It was pretty, wasn't it? It was pretty. Okay, let's sit tight here for a minute. We're going to have floaty planes. That's just if folks don't have the scenery, but we won't worry too much about that. Try to do something like that so we can actually see everyone. How's that? Something like that might work, wouldn't it? Right. The landing arrival. We'll do one of these. Are we ready? One of them. That works. And here they are. You guys are the absolute star of the show. Look at the amount of planes we have. All different makes, different liveries. Beautiful. Spartans, DA42, Vision Jet. I can see Bonanzas, Dukes, Chancellors, PC-21s, Trinidads. Gorgeous. The absolute state. Isn't that class looking? Everyone there, all the lights are on. That's beautiful, lads. Look at that with a sunset as well. Where would you get it? It looks almost romantic. Jesus, then, would you look at the state of it? So there, friends, we have it. Our flight for tonight has been completed. The sim hasn't loaded in half of us. Really? Hang on, we can fix that. Let's go back this way. Let's go back. There's Whack-A-Mo. Oh, 182. Nice. Yeah, the same kind of loads like the closest 20 aircraft to it, although here's a few coming in now. Yes. If I do one of these, look. Wop, 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 wop. We should get a few more appearing. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, like it'll only load in like the closest 20, you know? Yeah, what do you do? I entered your codes, I ended up at different airports. What? That's what I get from Navigraph and SkyVector. And I double checked the GPS coordinates as well for the Stalag Luft 3. Gregor, good to see you. There's Emilian. But yeah, an interesting flight, wasn't it? An interesting flight plan. So this continues next week as we continue on with part 3. Join me tomorrow. We're doing some trucking. Truck Sim is happening tomorrow from 1900 Zulu. Wednesday night we have the news and it's going to be busy because we have the Phoenix aircraft to check out as well. And then on Friday we have a group flight in Scotland. Hey! And we're taking the Scottish Aviation Bulldog for the spin.
Hello there.
So, Alton, thank you very much indeed for following. But lads, thank you also very, very much indeed for joining me here tonight, be it on Twitch or indeed on YouTube. And for all the follows, the support, absolutely brilliant. I can't thank you enough. So thanks very, very much indeed. And we shall be back to you tomorrow night. So, enjoy the rest of your day. We have kick-started the week in the best fashion we know how. We're looking forward to Friday already. right? So let's see what happens. No Scotland, no party. Oh, there'll be a party. By the way, reminder, we're on early this coming Friday, an hour earlier. We're starting at 1800 Zulu. There's Ballocks. And the reason being is, well, there's another disco. The last disco of the summer for Two Tone Junior. And, well, it's, you know, Murphy Taxi Service, right? So just a quick reminder about Friday. But lads, for everyone who flew along, thank you so much. That was incredible. I love seeing all the different aircraft. I love just getting to explore the sim with you guys. It's amazing. And for everyone here in the chat, if you're not flying but you took part and you're just here, even the lurkers, if you're just sitting quietly and this is some background noise, I very, very much do appreciate your company. And well, here's to the next one. To our team of moderators, Muse Fan, Old Veteran, and of course Gibbo Ireland as well, keeping us safe and happy. And Gibbo's absolutely sweating it, making all sorts of cool stuff. So brilliant. Brilliant stuff. So thank you all so very much. We're back tomorrow with some European Truck Simulator. Again, there's a multiplayer environment in that. And Wednesday night is the news. And then Friday, another group flight in Scotland. Cannot wait. So until then, see you soon. For a warbird, it's one of the finest warbirds ever released in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Considering you have the excellent work of Flying Iron. This thing, because of the extra features, because of the because of the optimization, because of how well it looks and sounds, even flying this thing gives you an experience you probably haven't got already in the sim when it comes to flying a warbird. It feels now, any bills? Oh wait, Jesus, they finally listened. Hang on a second. They finally listened. Brilliant. They finally listened. It only took about 1.5 years, but they've listened. They've included a Skoda. Yes, they have a Skoda. Absolutely brilliant. This